The subject name is Industrial Marketing. This is lecture number 1. I, Dr. Rohan Prabhakar Devale, welcome you all. Introduction to Industrial Markets. This part is divided into 3 parts. First is Industrial Marketing Concept and Characteristics. Then next is Industrial Markets. Third part is Industrial Buying Behavior. Today we will try to finish first 2 parts, that is Industrial Marketing Systems, Concepts and Characteristics, followed by Industrial Markets. Learning objectives for today's session. The motive of this particular chapter is to understand the concepts and meaning and importance of industrial marketing, to know the differences between industrial marketing and consumer marketing, and next is learn the concept of demand for industrial goods and services in the market. We will start with the introduction part. The fundamentals of consumer marketing are equally applicable to the industrial marketing as well. The work of industrial market is exclusively different, as all the forces of market that affect the industrial demand. The managers of the industrial market must react in a different way to the changes the market, develop the products to meet the changes, and market them in exclusively different ways to target market and business to business customers while maintaining the corporate policies. Therefore, industrial marketers face many distinctive marketing situations that are not normally encountered in the consumer markets. Further, the industrial markets has been the backbone of the high standard of living enjoyed by the customers in the past or since the industrial revolution at a global level. It is dynamic and challenging in any nation's economic growth and development. As and when the knowledge-enabled principles and practices of marketing cut across all industries. To market effectively, the industrial market then become compulsory for the policymakers to study the industrial marketing in depth so that one can understand the industrial marketing problems. We will try to learn the concept of industrial marketing. As you all know, the marketing concept for the business enterprises of industrial buyer is to define the needs of a target market and modify the organization's product and service to satisfy those needs more successfully than its competitors. The marketing concept is applicable and important in both the industrial and consumer markets due to the differences in the terms of the nature of the markets. It is evident that consumer marketers have embraced the marketing concepts more fully than the industrial counterparts because industrial customers like organizations, businesses, institutions, and government agencies have unique needs. The industrial marketing concept involves more than facilitating exchanges with these customers because it is based on the structure of a partnership buyer between the buyer and seller for the purpose of achieving the organizational goals of both. Generally, industrial organization tends to be technically oriented, much more interested in a particular product and its technical development. Many managers in such firms are promoted out of engineering and research and development departments. Some of or sometimes technical values tends to dominate their decision making. When it happens, there is a risk of becoming so charmed with the technical accomplishment or a particular product parameters that the necessary flexibility for responding the customer needs in a competitive market or marketplace disappears. The ultimate success in industrial marketing does not lie in projecting one's own competency in technical proficiency, but in catering to the extent need of the industrial customer. For marketing effectiveness, the product should be always regarded as a variable and it should be viewed from the perspective of the customer. Customer benefits and need satisfaction rather than the physical product should be the center of attention. Further, customer satisfaction should be dominant in all corporate decision making, so it cannot be exclusive domain of the marketing department. A holistic marketing approach must be tried by vendor or marketers. Providing customer satisfaction must involve all decision makers and will affect the product design, demand analysis, manufacturing techniques, resource utilization, delivery of the offerings in pattern of delivery schedule, and long range profits of the industrial customers and the vendor. Moreover, the understanding of the concept of industrial marketing is compulsory for industrial managers. Why? To provide the proper guidance and stimulation of research and development of new products, to exploit and develop markets for the new products, to define the methods for promoting products to customers, considering the major increase in the cost of media advertisement and personal selling. Also to innovate in distribution and other areas to keep up the changing requirements of industrial customers doing businesses on a multinational basis. Again, to meet stiff competition through the modernized business, it must adapt itself to plan of modifying and reformulation of products, refining the product positioning, and approach the problems using modern techniques of planning and implementation. Next part is definition of industrial marketing. The word industrial marketing is also interchangeably used as B2B marketing, that is business to business marketing, or simply business marketing, or even industrial marketing is also called as organizational marketing. Industrial marketing or business marketing refers to marketing the products and services to the business organizations. Consumer marketing is referred to the marketing of the products and services to the end users or consumers. So it is different from consumer marketing. So business marketing refers to marketing the products and services to the business organizations such as manufacturing companies, government undertakings, various private sector organizations, maybe educational institutes, hospitals, distributors, various carry forward agents, dealers, and so on. The business organizations buy product and services to satisfy many objectives like production of goods and services, then solving problems related to the product usage, reducing warranty claims, making profits, reducing cost, and so on. In contrary, marketing of products and services to individuals or families and household is made in consumer marketing. The marketers buy products and services for their own consumption. Further, industrial marketing consists of all activities involved in the marketing of products and services to organizations that use products and services in the production of consumer or industrial goods and services and to facilitate the operation of their enterprises. The vendor or marketer that sell steel or machine tools, computers, accessories of computers, courier services, and other goods and services to business firms or buying organizations need to understand the buyer's needs, the purchasing power, various purchasing resources, policies, and buying procedures. They have to create a value that is benefits for the organization or buying organization and products and services and focus on buying organizational needs and objectives. For example, a company manufacturing and marketing precision steel tubes for bicycles, a marketer involved in business marketing. Industrial marketers of the precision steel tube company must understand the needs of bicycle manufacturers such as Hero Cycle and Atlas Cycle and such alikes in terms of their quality requirements, application of tools, availability of delivery or daily or weekly basis, and terms of trade. Similarly, a small proprietary firm giving technical advice or maybe technical services to paint manufacturers is also doing business marketing. The needs and objective of industrial buyers are satisfied through the following exchange process that includes product exchange, information exchange, financial exchange, and societal exchange. So, one by one, we will learn each and every type of exchange. First, we will try to understand what is product exchange. The feature of product or service involved have a significant impact on industrial exchange process. The ease of exchange depends on the ability of the seller to identify the buyer's needs and the product's potential to satisfy those needs. If the exchange is good in terms of price, quality, quantity, and after sale services, then it will give a positive symbol for customer loyalty in terms of product or service loyalty. Information exchange. The information consists of technical, economical, and organizational questions. The questions can be there can be two questions, two prime questions. First, pre-sale, sell, and post-sale maintenance. So pre-sale maintenance, sell maintenance, and post-sale maintenance and servicing must be exchanged with the participation of decision making of business organization or buying firm. Products and services must be designed, planned, and implemented to serve customers efficiently. To achieve it, buyers and sellers tend to work together, exchanging product specific information over a long period of time. Now we will talk about financial exchange. The granting of credit or need to exchange money from one currency to another at a time of dealing with foreign buyers or foreign customers are included in this exchange. There exists reciprocity between buyer and seller in reference to the financial exchange. A seller gives credit to the buyer, also given loans to the seller during his shortage of working capital. Societal exchange. Societal exchange is important to reduce uncertainty between buyer and seller, avoiding short-term difficulties and maintaining the long-term exchange relationship to one another. A number of aspects of an agreement between buyers and sellers in the industrial markets are based on arbitration and mutual trust, not fully formalized on based on legal criteria until the end of transaction period. Next part is characteristics of industrial marketing and consumer marketing. The basic of marketing management is deciding the target markets, finding out the needs, wants, and the target markets, then developing the products and services to meet the requirements of those markets, and last is evolving marketing programs or strategies to reach and satisfy the target markets. These concepts apply to both consumer marketing as well as industrial marketing. Now we will talk specifically about industrial markets. The industrial markets are geographically concentrated, then the customers are relatively fewer here. The distribution channels are short, the buyers or customers are well informed, the buying organizations are highly organized, and use of sophisticated purchasing techniques. The purchasing decisions are based on observable stage or stages in the industrial marketing. Industrial marketing is more responsibility of general management in comparison to the consumer marketing. Sometimes it is difficult to separate industrial marketing strategy from the corporate or company strategy. But in case of consumer marketing, many times the changes in the marketing strategies are carried out within the marketing department through changes in advertising, sales promotion, packaging strategies, and so on. However, the changes in the industrial marketing strategy generally have company-wide implications. We will learn the difference between industrial marketing and consumer marketing. We have taken 8 bases. On these bases, we are doing the comparison between the industrial markets and consumer market. First base is on the basis of market characteristics, we will do this difference. Market characteristics. For industrial markets, markets are geographically concentrated and relatively low buyers or fewer buyers are here in the market. Consumer markets, market characteristics, these are geographically dispersed and it is useful for mass markets. So relatively large buyers are there. As far as product characteristics are concerned, industrial markets are technically complex and customized in nature. Consumer markets are that way standardized in nature as far as product characteristics are concerned. Then next is service characteristics. For industrial markets, service, timely delivery and availability are very important service characteristics. In consumer market, also those are important, but not as important as the industrial markets. So service, delivery and availability are somewhat important. Buyer behavior. For industrial markets, involvement of various functional areas in both buyer and supplier firms. For consumer markets, involvement of family members, initiator, influencer, gatekeeper, etc. are there. So purchase decisions are mostly made on physiological needs or social needs or psychological needs. As far as decision making is concerned, industrial markets, there are observable stages and distinct decision making is there. For consumer markets, those are unobservable decision making and mental stages are there. Channel characteristics, here channel refers to distribution channel. So once the products are manufactured, those are distributed to the final consumer through the distribution channel. So for industrial markets, distribution channels are shorter, more direct, and there are fewer intermediaries or middlemen. For consumer markets, the distribution channels are indirect, and there are multiple layers are possible for the distribution channels. That is, multiple layers of intermediaries or middlemen are possible. Promotional characteristics. Industrial marketing or markets emphasis is given on the personal selling. For consumer markets, for promotional characteristics, emphasis is given on the advertisement or advertising function. Price characteristics, competitive bidding and negotiated prices. Also, list prices for the standard products are prepared in industrial marketing. Catalogs are also prepared. And for consumer markets, Price characteristics is list of prices or MRP, that is maximum retail prices are there. So this is or these are the key differences between the industrial markets and consumer markets on 8 basis we have seen. We have seen basis like market characteristics, product characteristics, service characteristics, the buyer behavior, decision making, channel characteristics, promotional characteristics, and price characteristics. Now we will learn market characteristics. Basically, the significant difference exists between industrial and consumer market characteristics that affect the nature of industrial marketing. These differences are on the basis of the size of the market, then geographical concentration, and competitive nature of the markets. We will try to learn all these three, like size of market, geographical concentration, and competitive nature of the markets one by one. We will start with size of the market. Compared to the great number of household that consist or constitute the mass market for consumer goods and services, in the case of industrial markets, it is common to find less than 20 companies to represent the total market for the industrial products or service. In fact, only 3 or 4 customers may comprise the major portion of the total market. For example, for a consumer product like toothpaste or soap, a mass market consisting of all the household in India exists. Further, in industrial arena, oligopolistic selling organizations, that is very large firms, tend to dominate many markets such as large power transformers or high tension switchgears, etc. There are limited numbers of customer, mainly state electricity boards or maybe some large private and public sectors organization. There are situations of relatively few industrial sellers and few customers, and all of them, like vendor as well as purchasers, having the large size and large sales, will follow a pattern of purchasing large quantities or engaging in volume purchases on a repeat basis. So this is about size of the market. Now we will consider geographical concentration. Industrial markets or industrial consumers also tend to concentrated in specific areas of India such as Andaman or Nicobar and Leh Hills, etc. Such concentration occurs mainly because of natural resources and manufacturing processes. For example, the geographic location of natural resources explain the concentration pattern of most energy producing firms. That is, only a handful of countries like California, Texas produces the bulk of our gas and oil. Manufacturers whose production processes add weight to their products tend to locate near customers, while those whose processes subtract weight tend to locate near sources of input. Manufacturers of computers and other advanced electronic products present an interesting case of plant location. They tend to concentrate in the areas that have advanced teaching and research facilities, desirable living locales such as the Silicon Valley in Bangalore. Such locations are chosen to facilitate the attractive of attraction of the intelligent, educated employees who seek both intellectual challenges and physical pleasures. Competitive nature. In additional differences between the two markets is the nature of oligopolistic behavior. In the industrial arena, oligopolistic buying behavior organizations that are large firms. tend to dominate many markets. For instance, the small number of large automobile producers in the United States purchases 60% of all the systematic rubber, 60% of the lead, 72% of the all plate glass produced in the US. The oligopolistics reactions to changes in one another's buying practices affect the industrial marketing strategy decisions. Due to the fact that technological or cost effective advantages override geographical consideration, industrial organizations are more directly involved in international purchasing. Therefore, the major finished goods exports of industrialized nation tends to industrial rather than consumer goods manufacturers. Industrial demand as well as industrial supply therefore is more apt to cross international boundaries than the demand and supply in the consumer market. However, because of increasing improvements in foreign technologies and marketing skills, subsidized by the government policies, worldwide competitions make it more difficult for Indian suppliers of the industrial goods to compete not only in foreign markets but domestically as well. Industrial markets then are more subject to world political or economic or competitive changes than are their consumer counterparts. The oligopoly is when few companies expert significant control over a given market together. These companies may control prices by colluding with each other. Next part we will learn is product characteristics. In industrial marketing, the products and services are generally technically complex and not purchased for personal use. They are purchased as component parts of the products and services to be produced or serve the operations of the organizations. Because of importance given to the technical aspect of products, the purchases are made on the basis of a specification involved by the buyers. The real risk of falling in love with the technical aspect of the product in industrial marketing is to ignore the flexibility in the responding to the consumer's needs in a competitive market. Some companies, as a result, commit the serious mistake of trying to change the customer to fit the product. For example, the quality control manager, a cold rolled, that is CR, the cold rolled steel strip, that is manufacturing company informed an important customer who use the CR steel strip for manufacturing the luggage bags. They have involved that the consumer not was not just justified in rejecting his product or his company product as it was as per the relevant Indian standard specification, and that the customer's product specification were more rigorous than the Indian standard specifications. However, the customer refused to accept the product as it was failing at the shop floor operations. The customer therefore not returned the entire rejection but also cancelled the balance orders or further orders. Subsequently, other competitors supplied the product as per the needs and specification of the customers who placed orders with them. As compared to the consumer marketing, industrial consumers place a greater importance or service, that is timeless certainly delivery or availability of product, because any delay in supply will have a significant impact on the production or operations. So this was about. Now next we will learn buyer behavior. In industrial marketing, the buying process is more difficult as compared to consumer marketing. The purchase decisions in industrial marketing are based on many factors, such as compliance with the product specification, product quality, availability, timely supply, acceptable payments, and other commercial in terms of cost effectiveness, after sale service, and so on, rather than just the social needs or psychological needs. The buying decisions generally take a longer time and involve many individuals from technical, commercial materials, and financial departments. After the initial offer made by a seller, there are negotiations and exchange of information between both the prospective buyer and the seller's organization. Therefore, inter-organizational contract can take place and interpersonal relationships are developed. The relationship between the sellers and the buyers are highly valued and they become stable in the long run because of a high degree of interdependency. Changes are few and occur relatively slowly. Buyers change problems in searching out and qualifying suppliers. The cost of selecting a supplier who cannot meet the delivery requirements or who delivers an unsatisfactory product can be high. Thus, the purchasing firm can be certain of a potential supplier's technical, administrative, and financial capabilities. In contrary, the consumer marketing, the relationship between a buyer and seller is non-personal. Consumers change their purchasing habits frequently, and buying decisions are always based on physiological, social, psychological needs of the members of a family household. Now we will learn the channel characteristics. This channel refers to distribution channel characteristics. Inventory or stock control is very much important factor in the business organizations. Therefore, distribution channels are needed more direct from the manufacturers to the customers in the industrial marketing. There are few channel alternatives which are feasible in the industrial markets than the consumer markets. Now just look at this figure. Producers, then representatives or sales forces, and to distributors, those are converted to retailers. And in case of consumer buying behavior or consumer marketing, there are producers, there are sales forces or representative or maybe wholesalers or chain of wholesalers, and through that chain of retailers, and ultimately the products are reaching to the final customers. So channel distribution in industrial markets as well as channel distribution in consumer market. Often the manufacturers use their own sales marketing personnels to sell the products directly to the major customers. But in case of selling or small scale customers or geographically scattered markets, many manufacturers use either distributors, dealers, or agents or representatives, which also helps in minimizing the total cost of marketing. In case of consumer marketing, the channel of distribution is longer with the multiple levels of intermediaries or middlemen, since the household consumption or customers are geographically dispersed all over the country. Next, we will learn promotional characteristics. In consumer markets, the emphasis or focus is given on advertisement, whereas in industrial or business marketing, the importance is given to the personal selling through the company's sales force. As a result, a much larger expenditure budget is provided for advertising in consumer marketing in comparison with the industrial marketing. Advertising is used to lay a foundation for sales call rather than serve as the primary communication tool. Salespeople act more as consultant and technical problem solvers, utilizing in-depth product knowledge and technical understanding of the buyer's needs. Whereas industrial advertising normally stresses more factual and technical data, some industrial advertisers use mainly the internet and lesser of television to reach the potential customers. The primary means of reaching the market is through business magazines, then traditional trade journals, or maybe through direct mail or email. Sales promotion activities tend to center on the trade shows, then trade fairs or catalogs, and conducting technical seminars and so on. So, this was about the promotional characteristics. Now, next are price characteristics. The products are sold through the intermediaries or through middlemen to the customers based on the price list of the manufacturers to or the MRP, that is maximum retail price for packaged products in consumer marketing. Sometimes the retailers reduce the prices by passing on to consumers as a part of his discount due to different degree of intensity of the competition. In industrial marketing, price is less critical factor for purchasing decision. Competitive bidding and price negotiations are very common in industrial marketing, and financial arrangements are often considered part of pricing packaging. When there are no price negotiations in certain government tenders, the competitive bidding, like that is the quoting a competitive price against a tender inquiry. So this competitive bidding becomes very important as only the lowest bidders are considered for placement of orders. Almost private sector and some government organization, price negotiations are held to decide the prices and the volume of orders to be placed on various supply firms. The payments and other commercial terms are also negotiated at the time of price negotiation. Dealer discounts and volume discounts on the price list of standard industrial products are widely used in industrial marketing. The above discussion clarifies that there are many basic differences exist between the consumer marketing and industrial marketing. We have also seen the differences. But these differences in terms of characteristics do not make a complete analysis. Therefore, it is necessary to understand the concept of what is industrial demand in the market. That is, we need to analyze completely. So, demand in the industrial market. In brief, we will see the demand for the industrial products and services does not survive by itself. It is derived from the ultimate demand for the consumer goods and services. Therefore, industrial demand is called as derived demand. I will repeat again, the industrial demand is called as derived demand. Sometimes the demand for industrial product is called joint demand. When the demand for a particular product depends on its use along with the existence of the other product or other products altogether. Cross elasticity of demand exists for some substitute product in the industrial markets. So we will see these one by one. One is derived demand, then next is joint demand, and third is cross elasticity of demand. So we will start with derived demand. The single most important force in marketing of industrial products and services is called as derived demand. Industrial customers buy goods and services for making the use of producing other goods and services, and finally produces the products or services. So produced products and services are sold to the ultimate customers or consumer. In industrial marketing, the demand for industrial goods and services is derived from the consumer goods and services. For example, the demand for precision steel tubes, we have taken the example, precision steel tubes does not exist in the market. It is demanded for the production of bicycles, motorcycles, scooters, maybe furnitures that is based on steel tables and chairs, which are consumed by consumers. Thus, the demand for precision steel tubes is derived from the forecast of consumer demand for the bicycles or motorcycles or scooters or furniture, etc. In case of capital goods such as machineries and equipments like machine tools, textile industry or textile machineries, then leather machineries and so on. So these machineries and equipments that are used to produce other goods, the purchases are made not from the current account but from the capital accounts with the assumption of profit flow in the use of such capital goods over a certain period of time. We are continuing the derived demand. If the businessmen feel that there may be a recession in near future, their purchases will be drastically curtailed, that is reduced. On the other hand, if the attribute of the businessman is favorable, that is they feel that business is on the upswing and not the downswing, then their investment in capital goods and other industrial products will increase. Thus, the attitude of businessmen is very important as it reflects the optimism or pessimism about the future. During the periods of recession or reduced customer demand, industrial firms reduce their inventories, stocks, or reduce the production or do both. On the other hand, during the period of prosperity, there is an increased production and sales of consumer goods, which results in an increased demand of industrial goods. This may be the right time for price increase and building stocks as ready availability and shorter delivery of periods become very important. An industrial marketing firm should be in close touch of information regarding customers' purchase, finance, quality, research and development, and marketing departments so as to get information on changes in customer sales, new product development, financial conditions, and quality of its products. What is joint demand? Joint demand is common in the industrial market because it occurs when one specific industrial product is required along with the usage of another product. So there is dependency. That's why it is called as joint demand. In other words, it depends positively. Its demand positively is linked to usage of the another product. For example, a pump set cannot be used for pumping water if the electric motor or the diesel engine is not available. Similarly, the Department of Telecommunication, that is DOT, which requires a complete kit consisting of different items or joining the ground or underground telecom cables, cannot buy only some of the items from the supplier as all of them are to be bought to the market to be effective. Thus, some industrial products do not have industrial demand, but they are demanded only with the other products. Those are available from the industrial suppliers. So, this is about joint demand. Next is cross elasticity of demand. Simply elasticity is the change in demand from the price or changes in prices. The demand for most of the industrial goods can be inelastic, that is insensitive to the changes in prices for a particular industry, but at the same time highly elastic, that is sensitive to the prices or changes in prices for individual suppliers. This is because the total industry demand becomes from the united needs of all the customers rather than price, and hence it is relatively inelastic. Though between the various suppliers, a slight change in the price by the one firm may create a change or major change in the quantity of another and thereby be highly elastic for the other firm or any other firm. Cross elasticity of demand is the reaction of the sale of one product to a price change in another product. This fact is true for both customers and industrial marketing, but it is more profound in industrial marketing as it can have a dramatic impact on the marketing strategy of an industrial firm. For example, the demand for aluminium is related to the prices of woods and steel for doors and windows frame, as they are close substitute of each other. Apart from the advantages of aluminum doors and windows, the cost comparison with steel and wooden door and window frames plays an important role in the purchase decision of the construction of houses, commercial offices, factories, hotels, hospitals, and so on. Aluminium extrusion companies regularly collect the information of cost of steel and wood and advertise the advantages of aluminium in terms of negotiable maintenance cost or elegant looks, environment friendly in comparison to the wood, and so on. Whenever there is a change in the price of aluminium due to changes in excise duty or other input cost, there is an impact of sales of doors and windows made out of wood or steel. The reverse is applicable for changes in prices of steel or wood. Thus, the marketing person working in the aluminum extrusion companies should recognize that the cross elasticity of demand exists for their products. If the cross elasticity of substitute products is high, it indicates that these products compete in the same market. In industrial marketers, an industrial marketers must know how the demand for his products is likely to be affected by the changes in the price of substitute products. Because of unique characteristics of derived demand, the industrial marketing person would anticipate any increase and decrease in the demand for their products based on the changes in the demand for their consumers' product. They must know the existence of cross elasticity of demand for their products so as to recognize both direct competition and indirect competition. It ought to be clear after going through this lesson or this particular unit that industrial marketing is more multifarious than the consumer marketing, and the marketing success depends on understanding the intricacies involved in it. Industrial marketing strategy has the company wide implications and is therefore more of a general marketing function, affecting the various departments or functions in the organization. Now we will summarize what we have learned till today's chapter. So, in all, the concept of industrial marketing may be referred as marketing of goods and services to business organizations, namely manufacturing companies, service organizations, institutions, and middlemen in private as well as public sector organizations and government undertakings. Also, we can summary like the difference between the industrial and consumer markets conceptually in the type of demand itself. While industrial marketing is based on the derived demand, the consumer marketing is based on the primary demand. Also, we have learned that again based on some certain characteristics such as market, product, buyer behavior channel, promotional, and price, both are different. Both means industrial market and consumer markets both are different on these parameters. The demand for industrial product is derived from the ultimate demand for consumer goods and services. Also, we can summarize like it is therefore called as derived demand. This derived demand are of two types: joint demand and cross elasticity of demand. Joint demand occurs when one industrial product is required if other product also exists. Cross elasticity of demand is the reaction of the sale of one product to a price change in another product. There is this small case study, or you can say a situation. So you have to do a situational analysis. Suppose you have been just hired as a product manager with profit responsibility for your company brand of industrial robot. In preparation for developing a marketing plan, you just decide to learn about the buying behavior of industrial buyers in your market. So you have understood that there is difference between consumer market and industrial market, and you have just hired for this industrial robot brand, and your aim is profit maximization. So what you have to do now, the question is, or the discussion question is, how would you go about setting objectives for this study? So you have to discuss this. You can think of the answer. You can pause the video, you can repeat the slides, you can repeat the video, and try to find the answers for this particular question. We will discuss the answer maybe in the next lecture. Next lecture we will talk about in more detail about the industrial markets. So there we will describe the diversity of industrial consumers and the types of products and services that they purchase. We also like to know the influencing factors of marketing strategy in terms of type of customers being served and the product or service being marketed. And we will learn the characteristics of organizing purchases. There are various types of industrial consumers. You must have studied types of consumers or commercial consumers. Here, the types of industrial customers can be categorized like commercial enterprises or industrial distributors, dealers, then OEMs, that is, original equipment manufacturers and users. Also, there are uh, government customers or corporate societies and institutions as well. The industrial products and services can be categorized like materials and parts, some raw materials, manufacturing capitals, manufacturing materials, component parts, then capital items, heavy equipments or installation equipments, various light equipments or accessories, plant and building. Also, the difference between the suppliers and services we will learn. Also, we will learn marketing implications for different customer or product types. Also, purchasing practices for industrial customer that include purchasing in commercial enterprises. We will take one activity. The activity will be told by me, and you have to guess which responsible unit is there for that particular activity, whether that is user department or purchase department or supplier, maybe quality department, inspection department, finance or account department, etc. Also, purchasing in government units is different, and institutional purchasing is different. So we will try to learn about these concepts. Purchasing in resellers market is also different than purchasing in cooperative societies. So this is about the today's lectures, and I have given glimpse of what we will learn in next lecture.